my why is actually twofold. The first part being to put my very best effort into any goal or task that I'm seeking to accomplish. The second part being to get principles for success and principles for failure in that task and see if I can share that for the benefit of others.
I think my why is finding happiness, right? And finding growth and progression. I think those are three very important things in life. Being able to find joy in every aspect, whether it's hard or good, but that there's always something to look forward to. There's something good there always.
I suppose my why, you could answer that on multiple levels. So, obviously my family is very important to me, and I put them as my top priority and want to make a difference for them. And in the broader scheme, what my why is that I help enable people to live lives that matter and help them make a difference bigger than themselves and find meaning and purpose. I find that there's a lot of people doing what I call fake work, and fake work sucks the life out of people. It almost eats or destroys their soul because they're doing something that they don't feel is making a difference. And we all yearn to make a difference. So my why is actually helping other people make a difference.
I think I accomplished doing my why through measuring what I do differently. I think when you look for joy, a lot of people mistake happiness for joy, right? Temporary feelings of upliftment, right? Where I think true joy comes from a different place in your soul and a different place in your mind. And so when I decided that I wanted to look for joy and I wanted to look for progression and learning, I changed the focus of what I was doing. Instead of looking for things that made me happy or looking for experiences that made me happy, I looked for everyday items or everyday experiences that I felt genuine joy in. And then with that, as I started looking at things I wanted to learn and progress in, I found things that I found joy in, right? Things that I could truly invest everything I did in, which I felt was so important to finding that larger aspect of just finding joy in what you do in life. And so I switched careers from something that I wasn't necessarily incredibly happy with, because I felt that there was something I was more passionate about somewhere else. And I truly was more passionate. I've been able to really delve in. And when I learn, I get so excited to learn. And I find joy in the process of learning. And regardless of how quickly it takes me somewhere else, I am finding joy in that whole journey and that process.
So I accomplished my task by first knowing that I'm a student and I'm learning. And I'm not there yet. I don't know if I can ever be there. So I'm always learning new concepts, new ways to be successful, always learning from guys that are already successful, and always looking to teach guys that need some knowledge in the little that I know. And I think that's the first part before I start planning for a goal.
Well, how do I achieve my why?
By doing it.
I mean, lucky for me, that's my job. So it's not like I go and work and then I go do my why. My why is my work. And so what I do is I like the metaphor of a beehive. I don't know if you know this metaphor, but when a beehive becomes congested and unproductive, then you'll have a small group of bees who will leave the hive, go not too far from the hive, maybe in the shade of a tree or something, and they'll hover. And then they send scouts out. And those scouts go out and find where are the other opportunities. And when they come back, I don't know how they do it, but somehow the bees can communicate and they can make a decision on which opportunity they're going to capture or they're going to go for next. And the key thing is once that decision's made, the whole hive moves all at once to that new opportunity. And that's basically what I do. when an organization or a company or even an individual gets unproductive, I help them stand a little ways off, see what the new opportunities are, what's on the horizon for them, and find what their next opportunity is, and then either as an individual or as a team or an organization, move all at once. And at least 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, that new opportunity is their why. So for me, that's what I do. I create bee swarms. Probably my biggest indicator of success is free time. How much free time do I have? Yes, I have some financial targets and financial goals and ambitions, but if I have to choose between reaching that or having an adequate amount of free time, I'll choose the free time every time.
And why is that?
Well, to give you an example, so the way society works is there's a mindset that you work until you're 62, 64, 65, somewhere in there, and then you retire. So everyone's busy saving for retirement, so when they're 65, then they can go live their dreams. I think that's nonsense, because actually it's when you're 65 that you have the most experience and the most value to create, number one. And number two, you're much less likely to have the health and vigor at 65 than I have right now at 50, or when somebody has at 40. And so for me, it's important that I retire 1 week every month on average, and at least 2 months in a row each year. Why? Because when I do that, when I take that 1 week a month and that consolidated 2 months a year, that's when I get my best ideas. That's when I reinvent myself. That's when I come back with a higher intensity and a higher contribution, a higher performance. And so for me, that time is actually the engine that creates my productivity and my contribution over time. So what success looks like for me is that I can look at my calendar and know that every month I have an adventure. That's my retirement adventure that I'm taking right now. And when I miss a month, or when that's not happening, that's a red flag to me that I'm off track.
I think I look at, again, where am I finding joy? Am I happy where I'm at? And am I enjoying that process, right? Am I motivated to learn? I think if you aren't passionate about something, the motivation is hard to find. And so I try really hard to make sure that what I've dedicated my life to, I'm passionate about, and I find that motivation. And so I do measure it based on like how often I want to take classes, how much do I want to progress in this area, right? Whether it be in my career or whether it be in extracurriculars, whether that be like music or yoga. I mean, wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, I want to be so in love with it that I can give everything I have because I love it. And I know it's hard because sometimes we do say like, you have to be able to give everything to one thing, but also there are so many different aspects of life that it's like, how do I give everything in these moments or in this time frame? And so I measure it by how motivated I am, how much I'm accomplishing in those different areas, as well as how do I feel? Am I going through the motions, or am I doing it because I am genuinely happy being there and it's something that I find joy doing? So I think sometimes I look at it and say, like, sometimes I do get to the end of the day and I'm like, this has been a failure of a day, right? This has been just one of those days or those weeks or those months, right? And I think those are going to be natural for everyone. And it's as we come out of this, as we come through the hard times or the places where you say this was not ideal and this was not what I expected, you can still find that piece of learning and excitement and happiness there. Being able to look at it and say, you know what, this was a really rough spot, but I came out better, or because of these things, I gained these experiences and this mindset and this, perspective that I didn't have before. And so I judge my success based on how open I am and how much I've learned from every day and week and month that I'm in. Have I made that progress, and have I become a better person through the time?
If I was on my deathbed, I would let the world know to follow their dreams and kill fear, for sure.
Kill fear. Why fear? Why to kill fear?
Because that's the number one culprit, in my opinion, for people not achieving their goals. They're scared of what the other guy will think, or if they failed, how would they look? And I think when we overcome fear, the world is a new place, in my opinion.
So I think, first of all, I love the Indian saying, today would be a good day to die. Because you have your house in order, because you have things in place, you've lived life to the fullest. And honestly, I feel so lucky in life, I feel so blessed. I feel like I've already lived 9 lives. So I really also, I've lived without regret. So for me, that question is, okay, what's on the other side? That's going to be interesting. Let's go see. It's almost like a new adventure for me. That's easy to say when it's not real, when I haven't had that news. If I really had that news, maybe I'd be like, oh, but I think we should be living our lives every day like it's the last day. I don't think we should wait for the doctor to tell us that this is it. That's how we should live anyway. So I would actually hope that I'm not doing things much differently on that day than I do every day. Because I think that's how we should be living. And clearly it's a no-brainer that if I just had one day, I'd just hang out with my family, hang out with my dog, and enjoy that. But yeah, we should live every day like that's how it is, whether the doctors told us that or not.